You're listening to Worms and Dead, the paleontology podcast that tells evolution's most embarrassing and bizarre stories about worms. I'm Megan Wetherell, and I forgot to make Amy film this intro with me. But we are two living scientists who are really excited about dead worms. Yeah, so this episode features worms. I imagine you're not surprised. But you will be as we redeem ourselves for not knowing that an arrowworm was not merely a euphemism for penis worms. In our defense, legitimately all worms look like euphemisms for penises. But these ones happen to be particularly toothy. And with the help of climate change, they might be helping to spread a particularly unsettling bacteria. Like always, our podcast is not for kids, though of course Amy's book, The Fossil Keeper's Treasure, is. Our podcast is instead for adults who like science and never grew out of finding dick jokes funny. And given the topic, you should expect a lot of those in this episode.
I'm so excited because I have no idea. I'm coming in just a blank slate over here. Just fill
All
me
right.
up with worms.
God. Let's get that worm bucket nice and full. This is a redemption episode fundamentally for a very small YouTube interaction that I had where we posted that Burgess Shale like exquisite preservation episode, and I mentioned that there were lots of animals in there, and someone commented like arrow worms, and I thought that was a euphemism for penis worm. And it turns out
you're a pervert.
I mean, penis worms have a lot of names. So I was just like, hell yeah.
I mean, like, again, though, like, what penises are you seeing, Megan?
Yeah, well, okay. We're not talking about penis worms. We're talking about, I would call them, they look kind of like penis worm mermaids that are wearing an Elizabethan collar. So get that mental picture in your head.
It's fancy. I had to add like a fancy wig to my
I think that's fair. There is no evidence that they didn't have one. Absence of evidence is proof of concept, right? That's what that says.
That's totally how it goes, yes.
Yes, so today's episode is going to be about arrowworms, which, fun fact, are not penis worms. So that's fact number one.
Setting the record straight.
And I have to admit, I was a little worried going into it. So I had thought they were penis worms. Turns out they weren't. And then I was like, oh, they must be bobbit worms because the guy who commented was, or gal, or non-binary. I don't know what your gender is. But the person who commented was sad that they had been misled into listening to an episode that did not feature arrowworms, which implied to me arrowworms at least have one fan in the world.
Like, who would have thought?
Right? So I thought, okay, well, if they're not penis worms, they must be those crazy ass bobbit worms that people like to show.
Which are also just a different, like, just making fun of a penis thing. Yeah,
so those are not arrowworms. So bobbit worms are the crazy bristly things that live in the sand and
okay,
like nightmares.
Ew.
And people on TikTok, I don't know what country this is from, but you can hold like pieces of fish over the beach, and this fucking nightmare tremors like creature comes out and attacks it. I think they're then using the bobbit worm to fish for other things. But yeah, they're called bobbit worms after Lorena Bobbitt, who cut off. Yeah, so from penis to penis lopper, but none of those are arrowworms because worm.
Okay. Just like I've got my Venn diagrams in my head right now. So there's three now. Now we have three.
And arrowworms are nothing like what we've talked about. So there are, according to Wikipedia at least, currently 31 recognized phyla or in the kingdom Animalia. Of those 31 phyla, I would say, in my personal opinion, because I went through all 31 and looked at them, I would call approximately 15 of those worms. Some of them other people have referred to as worms.
It's like half
yes,
worms.
Because worm is a body plan that, as it turns out, real common.
If it don't broke, why fix it?
Exactly. And worms, one big thing that they all do have is that they are all bilaterally symmetrical, right? So even though they're a long tube, they are bilaterally symmetrical. They're not radial, right? That's worm feature number one.
Right.
all worms share that feature.
So if they're freaky deaky on one side, they're freaky deaky on the other side too.
Exactly. Equally freaky deaky on both sides. Not fiddler crab-esque, although that would also be fine. That's still bilateral bilateral. Arrowworms are in a phylum of their own called Chaetognatha. They're chaetognaths.
Oh, so something about jaws?
Yes, so something about jaws. And depending on how flattering the researcher is being, that's either interpreted as long hair jaw or spine jaw. So both gross options, but they are realistic. So chaetognaths are like 130 living species and some fossil species, as we will discuss. They're mostly pretty small. They're mostly like zooplankton. So even though there's only like 130 species, they're actually so common, the individuals of those species, that they can make up to like 30% of the zooplankton in an area. So they're pretty well studied because they're kind of a big component of the microscopic bullshit that other cooler animals eat. Right?
So all the things I care about are just dining on arrowworms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So they get up to about 10 centimeters long, but most of them are pretty small. They're on like the millimeter scale. And most of them are planktonic and pelagic, meaning that they float around in the ocean. They do have some swimming skills, but they can't resist the ocean. They're very small. And some of them are benthic, meaning that they do find a rock and they anchor down. But nobody talks about those ones because apparently those ones nobody cares about.
Well, they're probably a little bit harder to get to, I guess. But I'm like, already I am just like, who was advocating for these? Like, I'm so surprised. They just don't check any box. Like, I interact with people who are like, they only care about like the most basic dinosaurs. And so then when I hear about people who care about actual weird things, I'm like, who? What?
Yeah.
Thank you. It gives me faith.
To this viewer who commented, you were correct. They are insane, and I went down a very weird rabbit hole with them. So to start out this rabbit hole, I did initially come into this episode being like, maybe I'll just do an overview of worms because arrowworms don't sound like they're that cool because they're not bobbit worms, they're not penis worms. Those are the only worms I care about.
So what's left?
They're interesting. They're weird and they're interesting. So go ahead
and some of them are dead.
And some of them are dead. Let's go ahead and scroll down to the very first chaetognathid, the very first arrowworm.
Okay.
And why don't you describe it for everyone?
Picture. It's this elongate tube. I mean, it looks like, it kind of looks like a paramecium, like it's kind of see-through, but you can still see that there's some goopy like body parts in there. But yeah, very elongated, kind of running parallel, almost squid-like in some ways. But I mean, if you took the outline, Adam and Eve does sell, shit that looks like that to put in your holes. So it is still kind of phallic.
Yes.
So I'm just saying.
Well, it's a worm.
But really small.
Worm. They're all phallic. That's like a fundamental aspect. Yeah, so it's see-through. Its head is on the right-hand side of the image.
Okay, that helps actually. So what are the balls on the left hand?
Those are balls because all of them are hermaphrodites.
Oh my God. Yay. Yay. I did it. I got it right.
So they're all hermaphrodites and they have their seminal vesicles, I think, are down by their tail, which I believe is where those balls are. And they reproduce by basically pearl necklacing one another. And then the sperm goes and kind of squirms down the body into the correct holes.
Romantic.
But it does make me wonder if they could
beautiful,
basically self-inseminate via sit-up or something.
Right. Oh.
Like a real danger of abdominal exercise.
See, I know that's why I don't do abs.
Exactly. You don't want to self-inseminate. I didn't actually pay attention as to whether or not the openings or the pearl necklace holes were on the back or the front, but I'm not sure I could tell what was the back or the front. It's a
worm. So. What is the back or the front?
Exactly. I suspect they're equally flexible in either direction. But the thing that I thought was so funny looking on this creature. So first off, this is transparent, and most of them are transparent. Very few of them are opaque. Most of them you can see through. And in addition to being kind of like a worm shape, it has a tail fluke. Kind of like a whale, right? It's got and they all have that.
Yep.
It's got a tail fluke and then it's got these additional fins. So they do have fins, which is why I think they look kind of like little wormy mermaids. That was my thought. And so as far as the Elizabethan collar
Like
goes,
I like really more like wormy manatees. Like that
that's
is like
fair. That's
the
actually,
back of a manatee. That's like what that looks. But manatees are like probably inspired the myth of mermaids
yeah,
anyway.
manatees
So
are
same
mermaids. It's the
diff.
exact same thing. This is just a more realistic, fuck your beauty standards sort of mermaid.
Yes, exactly. This
Yeah,
is my kind of mermaid. Yes.
exactly. So the jaw is present on this picture, but you can't really tell because it's translucent and everything about it is kind of translucent and its mouth is closed. So it's a little hard to tell. So let's scroll down to the next picture so you can see it in full glory.
I'm scared. Oh my God.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm having a lot of thoughts, but one of my first thoughts was cat penis. But that's not.
And that really describes who we are as people. Horrible.
I
Horrible.
know. It's true. It's true. It is. It's almost like a flower that's blooming, but instead of nice petals, it's like bilateral blades, which I'm assuming to be the teeth, kind of
Mhm.
sticking out of both sides. It's not a full, like, cup of them. It's just on either side, and then they have like a little Muppet face mouth that's still closed, but their
Yeah.
teeth are somehow sticking out. And
Yeah.
it's really terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, so the teeth of the arrowworm, these different spines, they have longer ones that are grasping spines that are intended to help them grab things. And then they have shorter ones that are, I don't know what they are, but they're not grasping. That's the limit of what I learned about them. So these spines in all of the like illustrations of fossils, they keep like putting them all the way down around the neck, which is why I think it always looks like an Elizabethan collar. And you'll see some reconstructions later. But they also just kind of look like a nightmare face. Like that's not
Yeah.
you're getting grasped by little spines for sure. So the reason that they have
Like
these
horror
spines,
movie.
yes, is that most of these are not manatee-esque in their behavior. They are predators, and they're specifically described
Oh.
over and over again as ambush predators, which okay, they're eating zooplankton, so I don't know how fucking subtle they need to be.
Like, where are they hiding? Yeah, right.
They're floating in the ocean. I think ambush predators in the
In
sense
like
that it's
worm
being
world.
used in worm world means they hold still and don't chase things. They just if it bumps into them, they attack it. So that's how you
Okay.
avoid getting attacked by an arrowworm is just don't touch
Don't
it.
run into it. Right.
So I do feel like ambush predators is sort of like how all like slugs and snails have like really epic common names like cascade axetail, scarlet backtail drum. Like
Sure.
it's propaganda, I think, to try and make these animals sound cooler.
Coming straight from a slug and snail
Hmm.
specialist.
Hmm.
You heard it here first.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is propaganda.
Yeah.
I participate.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta do. It's
Yeah,
capitalism, everyone. It's not our fault. It's capitalism.
exactly.
It's just-
These worms, being worms, are soft bodied. It is obviously somewhat difficult for them to fossilize, which is why they probably should have come up in the Burgess Shale episode because they are preserved in Burgess shales and other Ediacaran.
wow. Oh, wow. Super old.
Yes.
Huh. But that's where their junk is? I'm so conflicted about how life fucked first. I'd really like someone to answer that question for me.
Wow.
Well, because I'm thinking a little bit about the gonopods, but like the gonopods of millipedes was weird, and then it was like, yeah, but they're super old, so maybe that's like old school. But these guys are older,
Hmm.
and their like teeth are in a place that I would generally think teeth go,
Hmm.
and their balls are in places I would generally. So I'm just Mother Nature. You keep me on my toes.
So I want you to scroll down to see some of the exceptional preservation uh, of these worms.
Oh, okay.
This particular fossil from the Chengjian biota, yeah, it had the subtitle "An undoubted early Cambrian."
An undoubted.
Echidna,
Good for you guys.
which I don't know about you, but if I saw that, I would have doubts.
Well, my life is full of doubts. So I doubt everything. But the first thing I thought is like I've been looking up some because I'm going to visit you and been looking up some pictographs from
Oh.
our old neck of the woods
Mhm.
that are all done in like ochre and shit. And that's what like this looks like a very faded wall painting
Yeah.
from early man. Like, because it's kind of stained with like a red color. I'm assuming that's like an iron staining. And that's the only part that you can kind of tell is not just a rock, is that there's like, and then yeah, they've got some arrows pointing to some features that I'm like, sure, but I would never. I would be like, moving on.
Yeah.
And 1 millimeter. Holy fuck, it's tiny. Okay, yeah, fuck that. I wouldn't ever see this.
No, I would never
I would never. No, good for them. That's great.
Yeah.
Someone cares. So
if you scroll down, you can see their little doodles where they've actually made it clear what they're saying. And I agree. I think they're correct that this is not me saying absolutely not. That's not a thing. But I would never pick up on this. This is harder to see for me than fossil urine. Like that's.
And I think it's, we've talked a lot about this. It's like very ink blot test. Like in that lower left one, I see, and then in the middle drawing, I see boobies. I see boobs. The one above is like a weird little dick.
Yep.
So it tells you a lot about me. So there you go. But yeah, the one on the bottom, the boob one, it's like a boob that's being held up with like a cool tassel tank top or something like that. Whatever, those are like teeth, but they kind of do look like little frills or something. Like, yeah, it's like I could design a cool top to look like this.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't ever be able to say, yes, this is the mouthpiece and the look at all those labels. Nope, I'm out.
Yep.
I'm out.
If you go to the next slide, you're going to see another extremely beautiful specimen from the Burgess.
Oh, okay. I actually, so the first one is Ediacaran, so it's older.
They're Burgess, so they're both Cambrian. These are technically Middle Cambrian.
Okay. Because these ones, I'm like a little bit more on board. And the top gives me a little bit better idea of why they even call it an arrow worm, because I've been like, what about this looks like an arrow to somebody, for its common name. And then, yeah, it's like the little things in the artichoke that I scoop out. That's what's making up its mouthpieces there.
Yeah.
See, I'm just craving artichoke.
It does look like a little artichoke flower, like the inside of an artichoke.
Or like a thistle, any type of thistle. It's kind of giving me thistle vibes. Yeah.
This is where we really get into the mermaid lore, is with the reconstruction that's on the next page.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh. I'm so conflicted. Like, it has wings like a maxi pad. It's like got a body, but then it's got these like wings on the side that are very menstrual pad. And then it's got like a fucking ankylosaur club tail. And then it's got like, if you know a guy who's balding, but only like on the top of his head, but he still has the hair around the ring, and then he got stuck in like a windstorm and it all just blew up at the same time. Like maybe that's your Elizabethan collar. Yeah. I get like old man with skullet caught in the wind.
Or like old man who got two extremely large false lashes placed on his face.
Yes, they do kind of look like, yep, I could see that too. Right. If your entire hairdo was like a false lash sticking upwards. Yes. And those are its teeth?
Yep.
So they're like out all the time?
Yeah, pretty. Oh, I think they can kind of fold down a little bit, but they don't go into it.
I don't know. That other part is definitely still giving penis vibes.
I mean, this is super penisy.
This is like, this. I mean, it's a lot. It's taken me all sorts of places right now. But life is beautiful. Who am I to judge?
Yeah, life is beautiful, and I think even with these two examples, you can kind of tell why the fossil record of arrowworms is sometimes disputed. I think that these two that I've just shown you are like pretty good examples of like nice specimens, but you can see how other less nice specimens would just be kind of like a blob. Sure. Yeah.
Right.
But it turns out that the fossil record of arrowworms does probably go back into the Ediacaran, and it's not fossils that look quite like this. And initially they were not recognized as arrowworms. They were recognized as ancestors of conodonts because they look very much like conodont elements. A conodont, if you're not familiar, is basically like an eel thing. We mostly knew it from its teeth, and people didn't know what its teeth actually were because they look fucking insane. And
weird.
Chaetognath teeth, they look kind of like giant spines, and some of those look sort of like basic bitch conodont teeth. Like they don't look like
Sure.
they're the cool, crazy conodonts. They look like a precursor, hence the name protoconodont. But now paleontologists think that most, if not all, protoconodonts are actually chaetognaths because I guess chaetognath teeth are like they're made out of like, I don't know, like keratin or something. Like they're softer than you might imagine. They're not
Okay.
phosphatized.
This is an enamel.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
enamel. It's phosphatized. But there was a research paper that came out like 10 years ago that said, well, actually, if you cut open the protoconodont teeth, they grow in the same manner. So we think that probably these teeth phosphatize as part of the diagenetic process. So you do get hard teeth
Oh.
eventually, but
Oh.
it's like part of their fossilization.
So not while they're alive. They only
No.
have hard teeth
They have
as
hard
they're
teeth
becoming
after.
rock.
I mean, they have hard
So
enough
why
teeth
then
for
why are we even
zooplankton.
talking about that? Like it's not like it's helping them out now. It's
No.
not like what
But people wanted to, you had to cross compare them because it's like this animal has relatively soft teeth that shouldn't permineralize. How do these hard permineralized things relate? And it turns out that they do permineralize, even though they are kind of on the border of soft tissue, essentially, in a living chaetognath.
So they would have been fairly like flexible. Like they would have been not as pokey as I think they might be. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, they're catching zooplankton. So like, you don't have to.
Fair.
Yeah.
Excellent point. But my question is, how does that process actually happen? Because it looks kind of crinoidy in that it's like, here, I used to use my feather arms and then I help funnel it down to my mouth next to my butthole, or like, it's like
their mouth is next to their
and
face.
why do they have a name about jaws? Do they ever even open this, or are these just like, I'm just very confused about how food gets in.
The spine collar, one of them's grasping because it helps to grab things, prey, and the other ones help to, I think, tear it up and put it in its mouth. So like they're like pedipalps, but not sex pedipalps on spiders, right? Like it's a mouth, and they have a hole that they put the food in, and it's right next to those teeth. Is functionally what I'm trying to say.
So they don't even have a true jaw that opens like I traditionally think of.
No.
So the jaw is this feathery frill around them that okay. So there's
it is kind of like crinoid arms in a little way. Like
right. Okay, fucking weirdos.
Want more content and you don't want to wait? Or maybe you don't want to hear ads like this? Well, head on over to our Patreon for exclusive content, early ad-free episodes, and so much more. For only $5 a month, you can hear outtakes, exclusive episodes, and the stuff we cut for time. And also the stuff we cut because it was just too much for the general public.
Looking for fresh fashion with a science twist? Be sure to check out Geopetal Fabric, Megan's clothing company. These geek chic designs look fantastic and make for excellent conversation starters. Plus, get 10% off using code WEIRDANDDEAD. Head on over to geopetalfabric.com now. Okay,
yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, so they have records of these crazy protoconodont teeth going back into the Ediacaran. But if you thought that soft-bodied ones were hard to see, go ahead and scroll down. Well, the next one is pretty easy. They're like, that's from the exact same site as one of the soft-bodied. So you can pretty clearly see that they are spikes, although I don't know
like
that
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, it looks like Edward Scissorhands spikes. But the one that's down below it is keratinized one, or not keratinized. They're like coal peels almost, like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because to get these and all conodont elements, they like dissolve things in acids and crazy different chemicals to get them to float up to the top. Like they don't sit there and prep out like micromillimeter sized teeth. They collect them after they float.
Wimps.
I know, right?
Fucking.
Yeah.
Come on. Gosh, shortcuts. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you use what you got to use. I still okay, good for you guys for trying to answer the questions that apparently keep some people up at night. This also just gave me like squid beak kind of vibes right off the bat too.
Yeah. I don't know that even if I did manage to separate that from the sediment, I would go, hey, animal, as opposed to, hey, weird mineral.
Yeah. Yeah, no, completely. And that's how lucky are we in
Yeah.
paleontology that there's so many different weird places that you can find your home. I'm so proud of the
So
folks who
cosmopolitan.
really.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's like great for me. I don't know what I'm even saying. It's not like I have published anything recently, but I'm just like, this is fucking great. And it's true. It's like when I tell people when they're like, well, why do dinosaurs matter? Which is a question I get a lot. And I'm like, they don't, but I mean, they do. And I'm like, most of the kids who start out being jazzed on dinosaurs don't end up being dinosaur paleontologists. Like
Yeah.
some folks find another weird niche in paleontology, or they go and become like normal scientists and healthcare providers and things like that. And all of those things are good because I mean, I'm assuming that this is some cool shit about just like life origins, because if they're that fucking old, it just means that, and they're still alive. That's fucking cool. Like that's very interesting to just be able to, yeah, dissect some of these oldest life forms.
The discovery that chaetognaths were protoconodonts and that chaetognaths existed in the Cambrian was pretty exciting because chaetognaths are predators. So that meant that there was a
Yeah.
whole other trophic level in the Cambrian and maybe in the Ediacaran as well,
Wow.
basically beyond kind of what we thought of as being like their general level. So it's predation. Predation definitely existed. We have arrowworms.
Oh, see everyone,
Uh-huh.
it's normal and natural to attack other things. That sounded weird. But right, I mean like that is a very cool Earth story too of
Mhm.
that, yeah. As soon as there was life, there was something trying to eat it.
You did. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Pain.
there are some wrinkles with this theory, right? So
Well, it's a worm.
it's indeed a wrinkly little worm. The one that the paper mentioned is that they weren't sure what the chaetognaths were eating because if they were pelagic, like most chaetognaths are, the only things that they've ever found fossil records of were too big for a chaetognath to take on. So, like Anomalocaris, like a
Right.
centimeter long chaetognath is not taking on
No,
Anomalocaris.
right. Even a trilobite is too big.
Right.
Yeah.
Either that they were taking on things that were living on the ocean floor, so dipping down for a snack, or they were eating arthropod babies, just like they kind of do today. So little baby killers. They're eating zooplankton.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh.
Cute, right?
Oh, I also just kind of love this too, where we're like, we don't know what they were eating. And I'm like, well, they were eating something.
Yes.
They existed, so they ate something just because I love sometimes how it's like, well, how did they? And it's like, well, it just
Had
means we
to.
have more to know. Yeah, they definitely ate. Like, otherwise we wouldn't have enough to fossilize. So like, they're there.
So the other wrinkle is that it turns out not all chaetognaths are actually predatory. So chaetognaths live
Okay.
in tropical
Fair.
waters up near the sun. They live all the way down in the deep sea. They live in the Arctic. They live kind of all over the place, even though there's only 130 living species of them. But they did an analysis on the chaetognaths that live in the Arctic. They looked at two specific species, and they found that one of them was full of algae pretty much all year round. So it was definitely an omnivore. I think the other one they found a little bit of algae in, so it was maybe more predatory. But chaetognaths, just by themselves, it turns out that those grasping arms probably could grasp more than just prey, right? Like if you have teeth, you
Yeah.
can probably use those teeth to funnel algae into your face too. And in the Arctic, you don't have copepods year round because it's the fucking Arctic. So it makes sense that some of these animals would adapt to become less carnivorous.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
just thinking about that one, it looks like they'd be, using it for other things. I think they'd be great at butterfly kisses to each other, with your eyelashes. Like, they've got the perfect equipment. What if their mating thing or like saying hi was to just like flutter their cute little jaw face, tingly whisker things? just because it's used for one thing doesn't mean it can't be fun for something else.
You should see Amy's little smirk that she has right now.
I just always love it when we're like, was it for this or that? It's like, it was both. It's always both.
It's always both.
It's
versatile.
Or all of it.
It's always a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, like, it is just so weird. Like, I don't know in what thing in our normal lives is that this or that. So, okay. So some of them were omnivores. Some of them were, right. I mean, that makes sense too. Everybody's got to be different. Can't go with the flow.
Yep. So my last set of crazy arrowworm facts, this is where things really went kind of sideways in my research today, is so chaetognaths, these terrifying ambush predators, they noticed as these animals are ambushing copepods, which, as we've discussed, probably means, oh, there's a copepod, bite. Not like sort of lurking in the bushes. It's the ocean.
Jumping off from a boulder.
They noticed that sometimes the chaetognath would strike out basically at a copepod, but not eat it for whatever reason. Like maybe it would fumble it, or maybe it would just choose not to eat that copepod. Who knows why? They noticed that the copepods acted weird after they got struck.
Oh.
As in, like, their circulatory system started to slow down and they acted paralyzed. So
yeah, okay.
What do you think's going on there?
Ooh, exciting. Oh, so they've got some freaky deaky juices coming out of their weird comb face jaw things, and which then talks about being able to do paralysis in super deep time, if that's okay.
Yes. Chaetognaths are venomous. And the venom, so one of the studies I looked at 6 different species of chaetognaths, found that all of them had signs of the venom tetrodotoxin. Have you've heard of tetrodotoxin before, right?
Yeah, that sounds fancy. Tell me more.
So it is actually the least fancy toxin because, as we will discuss, it's fucking everywhere. And every year we find more of it somewhere else. So tetrodotoxin is the same toxin that's in Japanese pufferfish. So if you eat a Japanase pufferfish and get sick,
it's that stuff.
It's because of this. It's a neurotoxin.
Doesn't it just straight up kill you?
Yep, it's a neurotoxin. It affects your sodium channels and it causes paralysis and muscle spasms, and it's nasty. It is also present in newts, rough-skinned newts, those things that crawl all over Oregon.
Your favorite.
Yes.
I crawl all over you.
Yeah, I love them.
I've seen it.
So newts have a ton of tetrodotoxin inside of them, which means that if you eat them and this is important, don't puke, you can die. If you puke, usually you're fine. And we know this because drunk men have done that both ways.
Oh, well, thank you for taking one for the team.
That's how science on venomous and poisonous animals happens, is some drunk man gets dared to eat a newt, and sure enough, then we get science done. So
right, because there are some studies you cannot set up safely or ethically to do. I remember when I was reading all my pregnancy books that were just like, well, we can't have women just drinking shit tons of booze for science their entire pregnancy. But you can talk to case studies in which people did. Maybe they didn't know they're pregnant or something. Yeah, so it's just like, thank you all for taking one for the team.
So tetrodotoxin, it's present in Japanese pufferfish, it's present in newts, and it is present in the mouth of chaetognaths, those are 3 very, very different sources, right? Like those are 3 animals that are not at all related. And so cool. Tetrodotoxin, like, I swear every year we find it in something else. It's the blue-ringed octopus. That venom is tetrodotoxin. Yep.
That's because the ladies will eat them. And so they're like, whoop-a-sh, partly. I think partly there's some. I was going to go down that road with dick hands. And then again, as I said, I get too much. Yeah. So, right, yeah. We'll bring it back.
Octopi have it. Fish have it. Newts have it. Lots of different salamanders actually have it. They're not related to one another whatsoever. And with most of those animals, it's like embedded in their tissues. And it turns out it's embedded at like different levels, right? Like if you ate just a newt stomach, you'd probably be fine because most newts don't really have tetrodotoxin.
Yeah, thank God. I love newt haggis.
Gross. Just the tiniest little haggis. Just itsy
The tiniest little. I don't know. There's some big fucking newts.
But don't eat their gonads because their gonads are full.
Oh, god damn it, Megan.
Sorry.
She's got to take everything I love in this world from me.
That's the same with pufferfish, man. Pufferfish gonads just full of tetrodotoxin.
It's the gonads. It's the nads, huh? Oh, my nads.
So you might notice a little bit of a trend there. You don't see...
Oh, is that where they are in the...
You don't see tetrodotoxin in like the stomach. You don't see it anywhere in the digestive tract. You see it in places where it's not getting put into the digestive tract. You see it in the skin. You see it in the gonads. You see it in places where it can't affect that animal because most animals are susceptible to tetrodotoxin, even the ones that have it. So you have to not have it in your stomach.
But why, if you have it in your nads, how are you using it? How are you deploying it for...
It's just to make you poisonous.
Oh, it's just so that no one tries to eat your gonads.
Yeah, it's just to not get eaten generally. It's not like they expect to survive if it gets to their gonads.
Okay, so it's like, where can I put this where it's not going to get fucked up with the rest of my system and take me out? Oh, these worthless...
Yes.
Okay. I'm just like, what are they doing? Like, just like pew pew with their nads. I don't know. It's fun.
They're not shooting eggs. No. It's a poison, not a venom for most of these animals.
Okay.
Right? So it's accumulating in spots where it can't be something that also affects that animal. Right? So
okay, fair. Okay.
There's that. And then it's also accumulating. It's not one organ that is the poison organ. It's not like sloths, or not sloths. It's not like slow lorises, right? Where they have like the glands that ooze it. Right. It seems to be kind of throughout their bodies. There's a clam that has an increasing amount of it in Australia, and they mostly notice it in like the siphon. So like it seems to be bioaccumulating. So a lot of people have wondered if perhaps it is not internally made, it is externally made, and that they are accumulating it specifically with bacteria. And it's complicated because some animals, like newts, the way you can test this, the test is if you do you make this yourself or does something else make it and you eat that thing? And right. Yeah. So they took newts, baby newts, I think they even hatched them themselves, and they put them in a tank and they controlled their diet to make sure there was nothing that had tetrodotoxin.
Yeah, like the poison dart frogs.
Yeah. And they found that newts stayed poisonous. So newts make it themselves.
So they're auto-generating their poison. We've got an easy bake toxin oven. Yes. Okay.
Whereas a lot of other animals don't seem to be doing that. And other animals, like clams and things, those seem to be accumulating it. And when they looked at chaetognaths, they were like, well, we don't see, like, they don't have hollow fangs. Those are not hollow, those spines. They don't have venom glands. Where are chaetognaths getting this tetrodotoxin? And they looked at, I think, 4 different species of chaetognaths, and they did all of these, like, bioassay, like, I don't know, dumb, weird biology shit that I don't fully understand.
Yay,
and they found
science.
Evidence for this one bacteria, which I have the name of somewhere. This one bacteria, Vibrio alginolyticus. Vibrio something. So there's a bacteria, and that bacteria produces tetrodotoxin. And it turns out it's associated with a lot of different animals, but not all animals. And it's also not the only bacteria that can make tetrodotoxin. So it seems like in a lot of cases, it might be bacteria that is creating the tetrodotoxin that then the animal is monopolizing to use as a defense or to use as like a predatory thing, which is insane to me. The other insane thing is that it's not just that we're discovering more animals that have tetrodotoxin. We are discovering tetrodotoxin in animals that did not have it before because it is spreading.
It's contagious.
Maybe.
I mean, like, okay, that's what the fuck? That's terrifying, honestly.
Yes. And it's climate change related, because as the climate warms, this bacteria, Vibrio, a lot of the animals that it's already, we don't know if it's living in symbiosis with, or these animals have like the ability to bioaccumulate it without being affected by it. So maybe they're eating it. It's not entirely clear, and it's probably going to be different for different animals. But this bacteria seems to be kind of linked to warmer waters, and tetrodotoxin itself is more stable chemically in acidified waters. So as water gets warmer and it has more carbon dioxide dissolved in it and becomes more acidic, tetrodotoxin itself is more stable, which is important because tetrodotoxin isn't just used as a poison. It's used by like algae as a communication thing, like as like a pheromone. Dinoflagellates use it as a pheromone. So they're pushing this juice out into the water, and now the water is warmer and more acidic, so it's sticking around for longer. So there have been now cases of tetrodotoxin poisoning in Britain, in Spain, in Europe that are not associated with pufferfish. They are associated with clams that are now beginning to bioaccumulate, and they see these clams that are in more southerly waters, that are in warmer waters, are more likely to bioaccumulate dangerous levels of tetrodotoxin.
Oh my God. Is that like, what is the paralytic shellfish stuff? Is that similar, or is that
I think
a
it
different
is.
toxin?
I think it's the same thing.
Because that, yeah, I've known that. I've heard, with Kelly's from Alaska, and
Alaska has a problem
every
with
couple
it.
of years, it's like, yeah, there's like these big, and it's really bad for the dogs that go and
Ooh.
like that's, yeah, definitely can. Yeah, I mean, I have someone who used to be a marine biologist up there who was just like bucking up all of her crabs. So, yeah, that's, oh shit.
Yeah, because
well, I don't eat
affects a
seafood
lot of stuff.
because I'm such a good person, and not because I'm
Mhm.
incredibly picky, actually, and it's disgusting. So I'm good, but that is freaky. That's and fascinating though too. That's pretty cool.
So my last fact about arrowworms is that in this paper in the 80s, there was just kind of this throwaway comment that is just fucking insane to me, which is that chaetognaths, there's 130 species. They're pelagic, and they get tossed around by ocean currents. So they're very widespread, which is probably part of why they don't have that many species, because there's a lot of mixing across the globe because they're part of the ocean zooplankton and they get moved around quite a lot. This paper theorized, well, they have this bacteria. They go everywhere. Are they acting as vectors for tetrodotoxin producing bacteria? Which it sounds like there's some evidence that part of the problem in Britain is because there are introduced pufferfish, I guess.
So, too many kids were like, I let my pufferfish go.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't
reverse Nemo. Oh,
Mummy, Mummy, what did you do with my pufferfish, Mummy? Yeah. Flushed it.
Maybe chaetognaths, like pufferfish, are vectors for spreading tetrodotoxin. They're like climate change revenge, is basically what I
yeah, life
interpreted
finds a way. I mean, because I was also wondering, because you were like, oh, it's this bacteria. Because I was also wondering, like, if it's a bioaccumulation thing, well, something's got to eat these arrowworms too. Even though they're predators, they're teeny, they must be eaten. So can they cause, and is that kind of what you mean by being a vector, is like they can help with the bioaccumulation process as
literally like a contagion spreader. Like the bacteria rides on them to other places. So it doesn't even have to go into an animal that eats it.
It's way scarier.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
It's just hitching a ride.
Just hitching a ride.
See, that is way scarier than World War Z.
Not for you. You don't eat seafood.
No, it's disgusting. I just find that really, yeah. But then I still wonder, I mean, something's got to eat these guys too, right? I mean,
sure.
They have to be eaten. I'm sure they're eaten by something. What eats zooplankton besides them? So.
Rails?
Ew, that's gross. Okay, so they're just making their own weird bacterial cloak that they take on their travels, and they just are like Johnny Appleseed of
maybe
toxins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have and like the theory was basically like a lot of animals have this. Also, Vibrio does infect people. So like if you go and you get a cut and you get exposed to this bacteria, it can cause just like general wound infections. Vibrio is one of the bacteria that can cause that. So like Vibrio seems to be real good at doing a lot of different things. And I also wonder if that's maybe part of how like some of these relationships developed is that if the bacteria is infecting you and then you just don't happen to die, but you just incorporate it, sort of like what we did with like, you know, other chloroplasts and mitochondria. I wonder if that's how some of these relationships are starting.
For sure. Right. Okay. Right. They just like co-opted. They're like, well, actually, now that we've recovered, we're going to borrow some of this for some of our genetic code. Oh, actually, it's kind of handy for things here and there. Oh, that's, yeah. And I was also like, right. And then they are also could continue to spread it. If you don't kill them, then you're also good at spreading. Because I was just at some fucking castle in the UK. And of course there are all these things about the trebuchet, which I was like, okay. And like how they'd take like, you know, plague ridden bodies and like shoot them into the castles so that they would spread the plague around anyone. It's like, cause if you walled yourself off and no one got in, then you wouldn't get plague. So they would just take disgusting plague bodies and like plague cows and things like that and trebuchet them, catapult them into these castles to cause everyone to get the plague and die.
Huh.
Yeah, well, it's nice. I'm glad I didn't live then. Thanks, ancestors, for getting on through, though. Thank you.
I mean, isn't that the plague kind of why people have autoimmune disorders? Isn't that one of the theories? Is that your immune system is overreactive because you're a descendant of someone who was able to survive the plague?
You know what? I kind of like that better than what I hear all the time from my mental health stuff, that it's women, your lives suck. We just hate women. You have because it does affect women way more than it affects men. And I have autoimmune diseases, so it's great. And I'm like, cool. So I'd actually prefer thinking it's because some ancestor of mine survived the plague, and that's why I have psoriasis, not because of generational trauma. It is still generational trauma. It's very
it's a very strong bottlenecking situation.
Oh God. Yeah, I think that's really freaking cool. And on a microscopic level too, that it can affect literally globally, even if it's teeny tiny.
Yep.
That's right, everybody. Climate changes. Yeah. Gonna destroy your seafood, you sick fucks. I say with a partner who just like loves seafood, but he was raised on the ocean. I was born in a landlocked state. That's my excuse.
Yep. So yeah, that's what I have for you on arrowworms and chaetognathes. They've been around for a long time. No idea when they got tetrodotoxin. But a lot of the species now have it and maybe are spreading it to other things in other places. Who knows?
Do you think the ones in the like Burgess and even Ediacaran would have had those toxins?
You know, what I saw,
do we know?
Was they looked at 4 different species. I don't know when this particular bacteria evolved. There are other bacteria that also produce tetrodotoxin. So it's super possible. But I don't know how we would necessarily tell, because as far as I know, there's not like a really stable byproduct long term of tetrodotoxin. So it's not like you could look for a specific chemical in the rock and be like, aha.
Signature, right.
Yeah. But maybe there is. I don't know.
But you just have to wonder if they are, and if they are, you know, obviously there's quite a bit of diversification and obviously they have evolved because they're alive and things change. But it is like, well, they have persisted and a lot of things seem like they're kind of the same as they were. And it does make me wonder if even some of that behavior was incredibly ancestral to arrowworms as a whole. I mean, yeah, as soon as there was life, there was a way to fucking be a toxin.
And there are other worms that do it. Flatworms. There's a couple species of flatworms that I guess also use tetrodotoxin as like a venom. But they're terrestrial. So it's fucking everywhere, guys.
Worms are, okay, so we just got, I mean, yeah, it's like we could just have worms and dead. We could do a whole show. Worms and dead.
There's a lot of other phyla to cover, that's for fucking sure. Dear God.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. If you liked the podcast, be sure to rate and review us on your listening platform of choice. We really, really, really appreciate it.
If you'd like to hear more and support the show, you can follow us on Patreon for some exclusive bits or on our various social media platforms. You can follow Amy on Instagram at Mary Anning's Revenge
and Megan on Instagram and TikTok as Geopedal Fabric, or both of us at Weird and Dead on Instagram and TikTok. Our theme song is Unlock Me by Prazkana. Cover art was provided by Chris Spencer and the hosts.
And this has been hosted and researched by us, Amy Atwater and Megan Weatherall. Thank you for listening. Just having a stroke on microphone. It's fine.
Sounded nice to me.
Good. ASMR, Megan has a stroke.